One of the weird ones is Mike White. Mike White had like a rib injury, and then he came back in the game. Feasibly, they might have been able to take him out and do x-rays and stuff over halftime. I don't know if they did or not. I don't remember how long he was out, but they checked on him, and he came back in, and then he finished the game. Took another big hit, apparently. But people are concerned because he went to the hospital after the game.
Oh.
So he stayed overnight at the hospital, went to go get checked up. Now, the thing with getting checked up is it may not be for what you think. It's more for, I don't know if you guys heard of the Jordan Poyer, the safety for the Buffalo Bills. He actually got what's called a pneumothorax, which is basically a collapsed lung. Yeah, so what happens is you can't fly. So you can't fly on a plane because of that. And so like traveling. So what they probably did was sent him to, he probably was hard to breathe afterwards. It's gonna be after whatever antibiotics or whatever you're injected or given for pain during the game or after the game or whatever's going on. It's probably a little bit hard to breathe. Might have complained of like heavy breathing or just like tight chest or something, which could also be from broken ribs or could have been bruised ribs, whatever it is. He most likely went there to get either a CT scan, x-ray to make sure. It's not the end of the world if he has it too. It's just a different way of travel, because what they could do, and it sounds worse than it is, but you can actually put like a chest tube in there, where they kind of cut through your ribs and stuff and put a little chest tube up in there, and it'll sit there and it'll inflate your lung to where it needs to be. And then they'll just kind of let it repair on its own so it can stay inflated, so you can get that repressurized essentially till it heals. So they can do that, sick. But you can't travel on a plane with that. Or you can't travel with it just getting taken out because it's too much of a pressure change. So what you can actually do is, theoretically, you could go and you can leave the tube in there, cut it, clamp it, and so that you don't have any of that pressure, and then you can just drive.
Oh, shit.
So
That's
I don't know
sick.
if he has one or not. They didn't come out saying he did or didn't have it, but that's like a thing.
Possibly.
That's what they went to
it's
go
a
check,
thing.
and
Yeah.
that's what could have been happening from it. So that's not good. But he's
The lung
probably
thing-
going to be week to week, and I think he's going to play. He might
Just play with pain.
Yeah, rib protector. We've talked about it before, how they can give you injections for it. They'll give you a cortisone shot. They'll give you some kind of corticosteroid. They'll give you some sort of something to deal with it. He's an NFL quarterback, and he's trying to make his money. Like, he's not like a first round pick. And his whole thing is like he's from New York. He's a tough guy. He's from New York. That's it. That's his thing. So I think he's gonna play if you somehow picked him up and he's kind of your emergency option or whatever you got going on, or if he's your backup to Kyler. If you want to play some Mike White next week, that might be something better option than Kyler. So Deebo has reportedly an MCL sprain and a potential high ankle sprain. Kyle Shanahan said high ankle sprain, and then they just said knee and ankle injury. So they haven't directly said that. Now, it matters. If it's a mild MCL sprain, like it honestly looked like an MCL. Everyone's saying ACL. There's a lot of people on Twitter like freaking out about it. It looked like an MCL sprain. He had a little bit of force on the inside and it stretched it. It wasn't good, but it wasn't that bad. His foot got caught under him. If the MCL was worse than the ankle and it's just like a grade 1, grade 2 MCL, 2 to 4 weeks, 3 to 6 tops. I don't see this being more than a 6-week thing. Unless
he'll be ready for the playoffs. I mean, they're going to rest him. They're going to rest him.
I expect him to not play the rest of the regular season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then probably be good to go for playoffs. I mean, they have to use. Everyone's complaining about like, oh, why do you run him up the middle? Even Jerry Rice came out and said something about it, but like, that's what makes him. Like, I was all upset about Kyle Shanahan and his play calling and the whole Trey Lance thing, running him up the middle 4 or 5 times and calling 2 QB sneaks with your backup when you only have 2 quarterbacks on the roster after one just broke his leg. But like, I don't know. I'm kind of in for running Deebo all the which ways. That's how he like makes his money. He runs really hard. He runs angry. He runs tough. Like,
but and that's what I was about to say. Yeah, but exactly. But that's what happens. Like, that's why running backs don't have a long longevity in the league. So
that's why he wanted to get paid, and you get it. It's because this is what he does, and he's not going to back down from it. So he's had a history of like soft tissue. I think his adductor, so like his hamstring groin type of thing. That doesn't seem to be an issue, but it's going to be either a 3-week thing or a 6-week thing. Yeah.
So with the MCL, is there any compensations that kind of end up happening that could hinder his style of play?
They might just like leave him more as just a receiver guy. They might motion him more. It's just the cutting, the inside forces, keeping that knee down, keeping the knee up. He's strong enough to like make sense of it. I don't think he's going to hurt it on a non-contact thing. It's going to be sensitive, and he hits it on someone, it's going to hurt. Yeah, that's either 3 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that. So we'll see how that goes.